crimes did you see kind of happening around the neighborhood, and you're like,
I mean, just ask me.
So let's just say from age 3 to 7, did you witness?
When I was 3 years old, I saw my first murder. I seen a man get a hole blown through him, right from my face.
Did you process it at that time?
I mean, I've witnessed over 150 murders in my life, so I guess I processed it.
How did it affect you, would you say? It's the first one.
Learn the difference between life and death. I killed a bee, and I cried for days because I felt like a murderer. And I thought God was going to punish me and send me to hell. When you experience murder and death and as a child, it makes you innately in tune with the gravity of life and death. It was moving, it's no longer moving. And something made that happen. Yeah.
As far as fun, what would you say were some fun things that you had a chance to do growing up?
It wasn't a lot of fun. It wasn't a lot of fun. It was a lot of work and a lot of studying and a lot of time alone. You got to realize the closest person to age proximity to me in my household was 9 years. I grew up with grown people. I had a sister that was a grown woman when I was born. I was always alone.
Did you witness any grown things?
Of course I did.
Did they try to protect you from that or no?
Not really. My childhood was catch up or get left behind.
Do you remember your first crush?
Yeah. Little boy lived up in Frankfurt, around the corner from Fifth House. He had a crush on me. He kissed me when I was 7 years old. He was 8. And he was my boyfriend for a week. And then I broke up with him because I was waiting on Bobby Brown. I was gonna marry Bobby Brown. Whitney got him. Ain't that a I'm so glad she did, because I couldn't have handled that.
What would you say was your first real relationship?
That's complicated. Walter Williams III in Williamstown, New Jersey, around the corner from my Aunt Paulette's house. I was 13. He was 23. He worked at the car dealership where my dad bought his Chrysler van, and he slid me his phone number, and we talked. Walt was sweet. He was in my life on and off till I was about 17. After that last time he went to jail for murder. I tried to stick by him on that case as best as I could, but he was going away for life. He did contracts. I didn't believe him when he first told me. And then one night he came to my parents' house. I snuck him in through the back, let him use the shower downstairs. He was covered in blood. It was a job gone wrong, and he got arrested for it a year later. First-degree murder for contract. He would ride his bike for 15 miles just so he could sleep next to me for an hour and a half. He made me feel so safe. His mama hated me. She thought I was going to get him arrested because I was so young. My 8th grade graduation, I was a valedictorian of my class. I had finished my 8th grade year in 3 months. They didn't elect me class president because I wasn't the most popular. So the only way I was going to be able to give a speech at my 8th grade graduation was if I was valedictorian. So I said, okay, I guess I'm just going to be valedictorian then. And they all laughed at me. And I just started taking my home every weekend, and I would read them from cover to cover. And I completed all the year's schoolwork before Christmas break. So at that point in time, I was only going to school for attendance, and I would do peer tutoring, and I gave the speech as valedictorian. That day was special. Walt was very proud of me. I was about to turn 14. He was about to turn 24. There was nothing like it. My dad refused to let me ride with my classmates in a limousine to the graduation. They was all gonna go out to eat first and then ride in my whole class, because it was only 8 of us that were graduating. It was private school. So, yeah, now see, that brings up other memories. Busch Gardens and my 8th grade trip. That was terrible. My dad beat my ass in front of my whole class because he thought I had ran off with a boy that gave me his phone number. He couldn't find me. I was downstairs in the lobby talking to my mom. I called her collect. And when I came upstairs, he thought I had left with that boy from Busch Gardens. So he pulled me into the room, he fucked me up. And he slammed the door so hard that it popped open so all my classmates saw. That was my 8th grade trip. I worked hard. I raised $2,000 for my class to have that trip. I was a trip coordinator and valedictorian in my 8th grade class. That was a uncomfortable ride home. Everybody staring at me trying to figure out how I just took that ass whooping like that and I got a shiner and I'm just walking around normal. So anyway, my 8th grade graduation, my father never apologized about that. I waited a whole month for the phone bill to come in so he could see the collect call from Virginia to New Jersey and say, I'm sorry, I f***ed up. And he was like, well, you probably did something else wrong, so f*** it. See, I've been telling the truth all of my life and people haven't been believing me, even my own family. So my graduation, Walt really